Okay. Hi guys. Good day, and my name is Ego, and this is my submission for the Mantle Hackathon. For this video, I'm doing like a show of the product. This is an example that integrates the SDK for Nora, and yeah, I'm just gonna walk you through the process of how it works. Ideally, this is just to showcase how it will work when the SDK is installed into a project. So this is just a React example for, let's say, someone who wants to have like a functioning front end. The code is available on the GitHub where you can see how it is being integrated into the application. This is to ensure that it's going to be easily integrated by other developers. So let's go. Yeah, so the first thing that you'd want to start with is to set the requirements. And to set these requirements, you just have to set, for example, let's stay with a minimum age of 21 and the allowed jurisdiction. So these allowed jurisdictions, we have the US, the UK, and Canada. So yeah, we're going to set the requirements first. And yeah, when we set the requirements, we're going to have a wallet pop up. And yeah, so you'd have to confirm this transaction. This is not one of the gasless transactions. There are other gasless transactions that would come to see. And yeah, let's set this. So we've been able to set the requirements successfully here. And now we're going to move on to the next step, which is where we generate the credential hash. And yeah, so for us to generate the credential hash, we have the address of the protocol here, and we would have to set from there the requirements that we set. So we'd pick the same age, and we'd pick the jurisdictions also. Right, and yeah, let's generate the credential hash. So you can see we've been able to get the credential hash, and we'd have to register the credential now. So for that, I'm going to just use this address that we've got here. So this address is functioning here as the protocol's address. So I'm going to register the credential now. And the registering of the credential is a gasless transaction. So what this means is that it's not using any gas, and users can just generate credentials. You can just register credentials easily. Okay, so we have our credential that has been registered successfully. And now we're going to go to how it's going to be for the user, the end user. So in the case of the end user, for starters, isn't aware. The end user is not aware that there are parts where the protocol address and the credential hash is available. This would already have been integrated by the developer. The developer would have already put this maybe like in an env file, or in the back at the front end, or in the back end, anywhere. It's not going to be easily accessible. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is to add the protocol address and the credential hash. And now we could now simulate a kind of user experience, right? So user comes in, and then he puts in his age and he puts in his jurisdiction, right? He'd want to check the credential. Yes, so he'd want to, if it's an accredited investor, he'd want to check that out. Then now what he's going to do is that he'd want to generate a proof, because that proof is what he's going to use to kind of prove that he meets with the requirements, right? And yeah, let's generate the proof. So the proof is going to be generated. Okay, so while we wait for the proof to generate, this will just take a while. Okay, so now we have the proof has been generated successfully, and you can now verify and grant access. So when you click verify and grant access, because this proof is to show that the user meets the requirements. So the user input could be varied. It's not really set at this. I mean, a user could be any of the following ages. It could be 25, it could be 26. Or what it does is that we verify that the person is the correct age. And yes, you can see that access has been granted successfully. For that protocol, we can still check the credential, and you can see that the credentials are valid. And yeah, This is just a simple example that shows the Nowhere SDK being integrated. Bear in mind that this is where the user is interacting with, where they just provide their age and the jurisdiction. And bear in mind that this is just like a base requirement for what Nowhere can do. With time, there would be more applications because there's going to be more presets, because there are other things that would want to be verified without having to display that data. So thank you very much. Yes, and remember, this is the part where the protocol gets to set the requirements, and issuers also get to, like, generate credential hashes and set the register as credential, and these credentials could also be revoked, and the status can also be checked. Yeah, so thank you.